You might feel in control, but is your bike really doing what you think it is? Hidden forces, silent mistakes, and misunderstood physics affect every turn, every brake, every lean. Even seasoned riders overlook them. This isn't basic, it's the science pros use without knowing it. Stay with me, and you'll never ride the same way again. Secret number 17, vision and target fixation. It's human nature to stare at what scares us. When something grabs our attention, especially in a moment of panic, our instincts tell us to lock eyes on it. On a motorcycle, that instinct can be deadly. This is what riders call target fixation, and it's the silent killer behind many crashes. Imagine taking a corner too fast. A ditch, car, or guardrail appears in your peripheral vision. Instead of staying focused on the road ahead, your eyes snap to the threat. You freeze, you stop riding, and without realizing it, your hands begin steering the bike toward the very thing you're trying to avoid. This isn't a conscious decision. It's the primal part of your brain taking over. In that split second, your survival instinct is wrong. Smart riders train their vision. They understand a fundamental rule. Where you look is where you go. If you want to escape a tight situation, you must look for the exit, not the obstacle. Your eyes lead your head leads your body, and your bike follows. It feels like magic when done right, but it only comes with time and practice. You can't overcome target fixation in one day. It takes years of riding and daily discipline, but once you master it, you'll never ride the same way again. Eyes on the road? Good, but now it's time to talk about what's happening beneath you, the stuff your spine feels before your brain even knows. Secret number 16, suspension dynamics. Your suspension isn't just for comfort, it's your grip on the road. Most riders treat it like background noise, but smart riders know. Suspension dynamics are everything. It's what keeps your tires glued to the pavement. Get it wrong, and you're bouncing, sliding, or diving under pressure. Get it right, and the bike feels like it's reading your mind. Suspension affects grip, control, and confidence. Hit a bump mid-corner with poor settings, your tire might skip and your line will suffer. Brake hard with too soft forks, the front end dives, and the bike feels unstable. Every turn, every stop, every acceleration is filtered through your suspension setup. There are different systems, each with unique behavior. Conventional forks, found on many beginner bikes, absorb bumps with basic spring and oil damping. Inverted forks, like those in MotoGP, are stiffer, lighter, and offer sharper handling. Out back, a monoshock lets you fine-tune ride height and weight distribution, crucial for aggressive cornering. Smart riders adjust preload, damping, and sag to match their weight and riding style. It's not just about performance, it's about safety. A well-tuned suspension keeps your tires in contact with the road, even when conditions change. So if your ride feels vague or unpredictable, don't just blame the tires. Dial in that suspension and unlock the bike's true potential. Ever feel like your ride is chaotic? Like you're reacting more than riding? What if the real secret is learning to plan 3 seconds into the future? Secret number 15, momentum and line selection. When you play chess, you don't move at random. You plan ahead, since every move determines the next step. Riding a motorcycle is no different. Smart riders think several seconds ahead, scanning the road or trail for the smoothest, fastest path, not just the safest one. This is the skill of momentum and line selection, and it's what sets truly skilled riders apart. Most people ride what's right in front of them. They follow the people's line, the most obvious, most used path. But that line is usually built on hesitation and damage control. It's a patchwork of survival moves, formed by riders who are just reacting, braking hard, correcting late, and constantly playing catch-up with the terrain. Smart riders do something else. They macro-manage the ride. They look as far ahead as possible and treat every stretch of road or trail as a puzzle, one that needs to be solved with flow, not fear. They find traction-rich lines that allow wide entries, smooth apexes, and clean exits. These lines carry momentum and minimize correction. Momentum isn't just about speed, it's about efficiency. When you combine great line selection with throttle control and sharp vision, the result is smooth, confident, fast riding. Like chess, It's not about reacting. It's about staying 3 moves ahead. Momentum is great until you're carrying too much of it into a curve. The pros? They've got a way to slow down without slowing down. Hit like, smash subscribe, and let's keep riding smarter. Secret number 14, trail braking. It's a technique that lets you keep control deep into a corner, and when mastered, it becomes a powerful tool both on the street and the track. At its core, trail braking is the art of braking past your entry point and into the corner, slowly releasing pressure until the apex. Unlike the basic method of brake, turn, then throttle, trail braking allows you to stay more connected to the bike and road through the entire cornering process. Why does this matter? First, it gives you more control if something unexpected happens mid-turn, like gravel, a stalled car, or a tightening corner. Second, it helps you carry more speed safely around a track. Without it, entering too fast with no brakes left means your only option is adding lean angle, and that's risky. Trail braking starts with smooth front brake input while the bike is still upright. No grabbing, no stabbing, just gradual pressure. As the bike leans, you release the brakes slowly. By the apex, your brake is off, and your throttle starts to roll on, all in one fluid motion. Done right, trail braking improves grip, stability, and mid-corner control. It's not about force, it's finesse, and smart riders make it look effortless. Control isn't just in your hands. Sometimes it's hiding in the links behind your leg, and if they're not right, everything else feels off. Secret number 13, chain tension and drivetrain slack. Your throttle might be smooth, but if your chain tension is off, your ride won't be. Chain slack isn't just a maintenance detail. It's a critical part of how your motorcycle responds, accelerates, and stays stable under power. When the chain is too loose, every throttle input feels sloppy and delayed. You'll get jerky acceleration and unpredictable rear wheel behavior, especially in low speed or technical riding. On the flip side, a chain that's too tight puts stress on the drivetrain, suspension, and even the output shaft. Over time, that leads to premature wear, or worse, mechanical failure. What most riders don't realize is how chain tension directly affects suspension dynamics. When you roll on the throttle, the chain pulls and the rear suspension compresses, a motion known as squat. If the chain slack isn't set properly, that movement becomes unstable, throwing off balance and traction mid-corner. Smart riders treat chain tension like part of their performance setup, not just a garage chore. They check it regularly, adjust it with precision, and keep it in spec to ensure smooth power delivery and predictable handling. This isn't about being picky, it's about control, safety, and ride feel. Because even something as small as drivetrain slack can make or break your line, and only smart riders know that. Ever felt your bike slow down without touching the brakes? That wasn't luck. It was one of the most underused tools in the game. Secret number 12, engine braking. If you rely only on your brakes, you're missing half the picture. Engine braking is one of the smartest tools a rider can use, and most overlook it entirely. When you roll off the throttle, your engine resists the motion of the rear wheel, naturally slowing you down. It's not as abrupt as hitting the brakes, which makes it ideal for maintaining balance and traction, especially when entering corners or adjusting speed in traffic. Unlike jabbing at the front brake, engine braking spreads weight transfer more evenly. That means more grip up front, less risk of skidding, and a smoother ride overall. It's especially powerful on big 4-stroke engines, where letting off the gas feels like gently dragging a brake. But don't be fooled. It's not just let go and coast. Proper engine braking requires timing and coordination. Downshift too early without matching revs? You'll get rear wheel hop, or worse, mistime the clutch or throttle. You could stall or stress the drivetrain. Smart riders blend engine braking with light lever input, syncing all controls in harmony. It's subtle, efficient, and keeps the bike composed, especially when the road throws surprises. Learn it, practice it, use it, because the riders who master engine braking don't just stop better, they ride better. Secret number 11, throttle control. Your right hand isn't a switch, it's a scalpel, and if you treat the throttle like an on-off button, your ride will punish you for it. Throttle control is more than just managing speed. It directly affects weight distribution, traction, and the balance of your motorcycle. motorcycle, especially mid-corner. A smooth, controlled roll-on stabilizes the suspension, loads the rear tire, and gives you predictable grip. That's what keeps the bike planted and flowing through the turn. But grab too much throttle too fast, you unload the front, shock the rear, and risk a violent high side. That's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The best riders know that finesse beats aggression every time. In fact, pros often say, slow hands, fast bike. Good throttle control also lets you adjust your line mid-turn without drama. It's your way of talking to the bike, telling it when to hold, when to commit, and when to go. Think of it this way, the throttle is not just a tool for acceleration. It's how you steer with stability, maintain flow, and stay in control. Mastering it means smoother exits, safer entries, and a ride that actually listens to you. And smart riders, they never stop sharpening that right hand. Now we go where finesse beats horsepower every time, a place where riders whisper to their engines, and the clutch decides whether you dance or stall. Secret number 10, friction zones and clutch control. The real magic of smooth riding happens in the friction zone, that narrow space where power meets control. This is where smart riders live. At low speeds, in tight turns, or during awkward starts, the friction zone becomes your best friend. It's what keeps the bike from jerking, stalling, or tipping over when precision matters most. Clutch control isn't about yanking and dumping. It's about finessing, light fingers, steady throttle, and just the right amount of slip. This combo gives you control over how and when power hits the rear wheel. Look at it as a volume control for your engine. You're not blasting it, you're tuning it. Understanding how partial clutch engagement affects torque delivery means you can pivot, or stabilize your bike effortlessly. It's not guesswork, it's physics. And when mastered, it gives you the upper hand in places where others struggle. From slow-speed U-turns to stop-and-go traffic, mastering the friction zone makes you look skilled, feel confident, and ride smarter. It's not flashy, but it separates the smooth from the sloppy. Want complete command of your motorcycle? Start with your clutch. And don't just ride it, rule it. Secret number 9, roll, pitch, and yaw. Your motorcycle moves while dancing in 3 dimensions. Roll, pitch, and yaw are the rhythm behind every ride, and if you want to ride smart, you've got to feel the flow between them. Roll is the lean. You drop into a corner. That's roll in action. Pitch is front to back, diving under brakes, or lifting under throttle. And yaw is your directional change, your bike rotating left or right, like pivoting a pen between your fingers. But here's where it gets interesting. These motions don't happen one at a time. They're stacked, layered, blended. And when you overload one while ignoring the others, boom, that's when crashes happen. Grab a fistful of brake while mid-turn, you've just maxed out pitch and roll together and likely lost grip. Don't fight physics, work with it. Sharp riders roll into a turn, pitch the bike just right with gentle braking or throttle, and guide yaw with subtle inputs. It's a conversation between the rider and the machine. Smooth, deliberate, responsive. Balancing these 3 motions is what separates guesswork from skill. It's not just how fast you go, it's how gracefully you manage what your bike is doing under you. Know your axes. Ride like you're fluent in motion. Feel like the bike's fighting you? It might be because you're not moving with it. Let's talk about the art of being one with your machine. Secret number 8, weight transfer. Ever wonder why your bike feels rock solid one moment and sketchy the next? The answer might not be in your throttle hand or brake lever. It's in how you move the weight. Motorcycles don't have 4 wheels to spread out the load. So when you brake hard, all that mass shifts forward. Done right, it gives you killer grip on the front tire. Exactly what you want when scrubbing speed. But if you're too aggressive, you cause overloaded front, unstable rear, and a whole lot of panic. Now switch gears. Hit the gas hard and weight rockets to the back. That's awesome for rear traction and drive out of corners. Unless you dump the throttle like a rookie and break traction altogether, balance matters. Turning, same game. You lean and weight shifts side to side. Combine that with poor timing, and you're asking too much of too little tire. The smart rider's secret is smooth transitions. Control how weight moves across the machine. Predict the load before you feel it. Flow through your inputs. Don't stab at them. Riding well isn't just about what you do. It's how your bike reacts to what you do. Master weight transfer, and suddenly your motorcycle becomes an extension of you. Balanced, planted, and totally in sync. Secret number 7, gyroscopic effect. When your wheels spin, they don't just move, they resist changes in direction. That resistance is what keeps your bike feeling stable, especially at speed. Ever notice how balancing at 5 mph is a circus act, but at 50, effortless? That's the gyroscope doing its thing. More speed means more gyroscopic force, and more force means your motorcycle resists tipping over. It's like an invisible hand keeping you balanced. Now, here's where it gets really smart. This effect doesn't just help you stay upright, it also plays a big role in how your bike corners. As you lean into a turn, that gyroscopic resistance creates a counterforce that smooths out the transition. The faster your wheels spin, the more the bike wants to stay in the turn, helping you hold a clean line. But don't get it twisted. The gyroscopic effect won't save sloppy inputs. It enhances good technique. Use it right, and your bike will feel glued to the road. Misuse it, and it won't fix bad balance. You trust your life to something smaller than your hands. Every single ride. Moving on is a rubber that decides whether you stick or slide. Secret number 6. Tire contact patch. Your entire motorcycle, the power, weight, speed, and control, all rests on 2 tiny patches of rubber no bigger than your palms. That's it. That's your tire contact patch, and it's doing way more work than you think. Every brake you squeeze, every twist of the throttle, every lean into a corner, all of it channels through those small surfaces. They're your bike's only connection to the road, managing grip, force, and balance in real time. It's like walking a tightrope, wearing shoes made of science. Here's where the smart riders separate from the crowd. They obsess over tire condition and pressure, because underinflated tires ruin handling. Overinflated ones kill grip. Cold tires, slippery liabilities. A warm, properly pressurized tire gives you confidence, stability, and razor-sharp feedback. And when you're leaning into a corner, riding that edge, that contact patch gets even smaller. You're dancing on the limit of physics, and your tire is the stage. So if you're not giving your tires love, attention, and regular checks, you're not riding smart. Remember, you're not riding on the road, you're riding on rubber, and rubber is riding the road. Make that patch count. Air doesn't seem dangerous until you hit triple digits, but smart riders know how to slice through it like a blade. Secret number 5, wind resistance and aerodynamics. Wind is your invisible opponent. You don't see it, but your bike feels every ounce of it. As your speed climbs, drag doesn't just grow, it fights back harder. At 60 mph, wind is manageable. At 100 mph, it's a brick wall. Now here's the smart part. Wind can't be stopped, but it can be outsmarted. Your body is the biggest sail on the bike. Sit upright and you're fighting the air. Tuck in and you cut through it. That racing posture isn't just for style, it's science. Lower profile means less drag, more speed, and surprisingly, less exhaustion. But it's not just you. Your helmet shape matters. Your jacket puffiness matters. Even your gloves and boots chip away at your aerodynamic efficiency. Smart riders choose gear that hugs the wind, not punches it. Then there's the bike. Saddlebags, phone mounts, handguards. Tiny changes alter airflow. At high speeds, those changes matter. Ever felt an unexplained wobble on the highway? Yeah, that could be drag working against your stability. Aerodynamics isn't about being a racer, it's about being efficient, safe, and smooth. Mastering wind resistance gives you better fuel economy, longer stamina, and tighter control. Ignore the wind, and it will control you. Learn it, and the ride becomes effortless. Secret number 4, torque versus horsepower, and when it matters. These are not just numbers on a spec sheet, they're the rhythm and pulse of how your bike performs. Torque is the brute strength. It's what gives you that shove off the line, the pull out of a corner, or the satisfying launch when the light turns green. It lives in the lower rev range, and when used wisely, makes throttle control smooth and confident. That means fewer stalls, more grip, and cleaner power delivery. Horsepower, on the other hand, is the speed builder. It thrives in high RPMs. It's what carries you when the needle climbs and the wind roars. If torque is your hammer, horsepower is your jet engine. Want to pass at 100 mph? Horsepower's got you. But here's the catch. Your bike has a power band, and knowing where that sweet spot lives is what separates a smart rider from a reckless one. Misuse torque, and you're spinning tires or unintentional wheeling down the street. Over-rev the horsepower, and you'll waste fuel and power. Ride with intelligence. Learn the feel of your engine. Time your shifts. Respect the torque. Unleash the horsepower, and your bike will dance, not fight. This next trick feels like a paradox. until it saves your life. Secret number 3, countersteering. You don't turn a motorcycle by turning the handlebars. That's bicycle logic. On a motorcycle at speed, the real magic word is countersteering, and it's the Jedi mind trick of riding. Want to go left? You push the left handlebar forward. Sounds backwards? It is. But that little push tilts the bike into the lean, and that's what turns you. Same rule applies going right. Push right to go right. Countersteering works because of gyroscopic forces. The brief handlebar input tips the bike and lets physics do the rest. It's not guesswork. It's precise and powerful. Most new riders unknowingly do it without understanding how. But smart riders, they know how to use it on purpose. If you need to dodge a pothole or avoid a squirrel on a curve, a quick countersteer keeps the bike stable and your line clean. More lean, more control, less panic. That's what this is about. Instead of yanking the bars and praying, countersteering lets you command the bike. It's your steering wheel, not a wishbone. If you've never consciously practiced it, now's the time. It separates the riders from the passengers. And once you master it, twisty roads won't just be fun, they'll feel like home. You're not just leaning, you're gambling with grip. And the pros? They know how to cheat the house without going over the edge. Secret number 2, lean angle and traction. The moment you tip that bike, you're shifting responsibility to a razor-thin piece of rubber. That contact patch, barely the size of your hand, and it's juggling acceleration, braking, and turning all at once. The problem? Lean further, and that patch shrinks. Now you're putting more stress on less tire. One miscalculation, and you're past the edge, literally. But here's where the pros pull ahead. They shift their weight, not just the bike. A smart rider slides their body inside the curve, reducing the lean angle needed. Less lean equals more rubber on the road. That's traction you can trust. It's not about looking aggressive, it's about efficiency. Good body position unlocks smoother, safer turns. You don't fight gravity, you use it. Hips off the seat, shoulders toward the inside, eyes through the exit. Make the bike dance while staying planted. Lean angle isn't about guts, it's about control. Ride smart, shift well, and your tires will carry you through curves with grip to spare. Push too far without thinking, and you'll meet the pavement faster than you'd like. Finally, the trick to every corner, every move, starts with one thing: balance in all the right places. Secret number 1, center of gravity. Your bike doesn't turn because you steer. It turns because you shift its balance. That balance revolves around a single, invisible force: center of gravity. It's the bike's tightrope, and every move you make either steadies it or tips it. Want to carve a clean turn? You don't crank the bars. Push right to go right. That tiny input starts the lean, and leaning is what actually changes direction. Not the handlebars, not your intentions. The lean angle shifts your center of gravity inward, which is what lets the bike rotate through the curve. Do it wrong, and you're fighting physics. Do it right, and you're dancing with it. Now add throttle, gently. Smooth roll-on keeps the weight where it needs to be, settled and stable. Chop it suddenly, and that balance wobbles. Hard. Your traction, already running on a limited budget, might just check out. Smart riders don't just ride the bike, they ride the forces underneath it. Use your body. Understand your bike's balance. Keep the center low and in control, because when the center of gravity is on your side, everything else falls into place. Mastering motorcycle physics isn't about being a scientist. It's about riding smarter, smoother, and safer. But here's the twist. Even with all the science, there are still hidden rules most riders miss. Ready to level up? Watch 12 secret motorcycle rules no one knows about.